We are into the final 3 rounds of the season. We are go for round 6. Owen Boerkamp's round, going wheel to wheel into the first corner.
Overhouse round.
And he's pushing him through the corner.
That's...
Matisse Chaubert across the line, takes the win.
Brilliant drive, your Super Cup winner.
The summer break concludes and the battle begins as we get on our journey to crown a 2025 Porsche Mobil 1 Super Cup champion. This is round number 7 of the season. We've got 2 rounds left to try and decide who will be our victor in 2025. Season 33 it is for the Porsche Super Cup, and this is a circuit which runs to 4.2 kilometers, 2.6 miles. We'll run around it 17 times tomorrow for the race, but we need to set a grid for it, and that's exactly what we're going to do here today. 14 turns in total around an old school circuit, around a challenging circuit, and top speed is of course reached down at turn number 1. We really have one of these great circuits which we cannot wait to see how it is all going to unfold. We have a green light at the end of the pit lane, and we have cars making their way out onto this circuit right now. We have seen one of the greatest championship battles that we have had in the Porsche Super Cup in recent times, and well, I'm looking forward to continuing this journey as we end a chapter for this Porsche Cup car. After a few years, ever since 2021, we've had this machinery, and it all comes to a close at the end of next weekend as we begin a new era from 2026 onwards. Francesco Braschi there making his way out onto the circuit, and it is one of those great circuits as well. The Porsche Super Cup has the privilege of racing around some of the great circuits in Europe. This is one of them. This is Circuit Zandvoort, and we cannot wait to see how it is all going to play out. We've got some interviews to bring you, plenty of them, to bring you in this session. Flint Schuring sitting down in the pit lane. He is one of our championship contenders, and he is also one of the home heroes this weekend. Plenty of them across the field. We'll bring you up to date with all of that. A lot of wild cards as well. So if we were to give you a bit of a summary, there is quite a lot of people who might be your pick to support this weekend. Great to see the fans out there in the grandstand as they look on to beautiful sights, and they can hear and endure some amazing sounds as well. Dirk Schuten making his way through. He's another one of those drivers who will be having their home race this weekend. To bring you up to date with how our championship has been, Alessandro Gueretti leads the points battle, 85.5 points. And then we find ourselves 4 back to Robert Dehaan, 6 back to Flint Schuring. They're second and third. Ariel Levy is in fourth, and Marvin Klin is in fifth. Realistically, we have 5 different drivers in the points battle. Ascona isn't part of it, but he wants to end the season on a high with 2 amazing races. He spoke to us earlier on about exactly that. Of course, racing for the Hideka team that are new to the series, and they're also the first Spanish team in the Porsche Mobil 1 Super Cup as well. So it's been a challenge, but they've been working hard. It was a disappointment for Ascona losing his wheel and a retirement in Budapest, but he is looking to bounce back when it comes to our round here in the Netherlands. He's got one of those great circuits. If he can get it right, the reward is quite high. Let's hear from him now.
There are not so many overtakes during the race, so the key challenge will be to have a very clean lap in qualifying. As the race weekend, 95% of the weekend is the qualifying result. So far our results were much better than expected, considering we are new team on the Super Cup, new driver on the Super Cup. I have never driven this car in my life. Also, the team is new with the car, so if you compare to the rest of the teams that they are 10 years in this championship, they know all the small tricks into the car, how to put the car in every circuit. So for us, everything is new. Also, the level of the drivers are very high. So for me to be in top 10 every race weekend, even being P5 in Monaco race weekend, it is much better than expected, and it's already a good result for us because we are not on the same level as the other teams.
And that is to be expected as well. Great to hear from Michele Scona as he talked to us about some of the challenges that Hideka Racing team have faced. Flint Shearing still in the pit lane at the moment. Everyone else running around, and he's basically looking to the side of his car as they all go by down the start-finish straight. Incredible stuff. We mentioned high-speed circuit, but as Ascona mentioned himself, I mean, you've heard it from a racing driver, that's all you need to hear it from. We've got a challenging venue when it comes to overtaking. So this session is quite important. If you are a title contender, you need to get it right. If you want to forge your way into a contention for a victory, you need to get it right. One driver who certainly got it right yesterday was Jaap van Lagen. For the second practice session in a row this season, he was quickest of all. Jaap van Lagen, the oldest driver when it comes to the Porsche Supercup, was pushing on in practice, and a fastest time was set yesterday by him as well. And it was quite a good session. It was quite a chaotic session, and it was held in between our Formula 1 Practice 1 and Practice 2. We've had some great support for the Dutch drivers across this round in F1 and F1 Academy in the Porsche Super Cup. My word, good luck making your pick because there's so many. It's like you've got a whole grid of them as well. So Jaap van Lagen rotating his way through the first and second sectors at the moment, about to head into the third. We've got 25 minutes to go on the clock. The runs now are about to get underway for proper. They'll be building upon what they've managed so far this weekend, and the practice session very important. These drivers only get one of those across the weekend. The yellow flags are already flying out there on the circuit, and there's the reason why. We have Aldo Frastante off the road, and that is a huge disappointment for him. So the yellow flags are out. Could be a red flag in a few moments' time. Can Jaap van Lagen get a time on the board before we do get to the red flag? He comes across the line. He does get a time, and he might be the only driver to do so because the red flag is now flying. So the red flag is called, understandably so. We've got a car in the wall of Aldo Frastante, and that is a huge disappointment for the Dynamic Motorsports driver. He will play no further part. The marshal's immediately there to check what has happened, and it's a sight of that car in the wall by the looks of things. It's hit the barrier, the tyre barrier that we have down at that part of the circuit. Let's see what's happened. So he's got Ascona making his way to behind. He just loses it as he goes downhill a little bit, and that's a disappointment. So he was arriving down into turn number 9 of the circuit, and the car went...
I'm okay. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
And the car went straight, is the sentence I was trying to quickly get out before we got that radio message. But that's a disappointment, a really, really big disappointment. As you can hear on the radio, he knows how much work the team have done to give him a car to contend this weekend. So it hurts for driver, and it also, of course, for team, because they know that it's a very hard task with what Michele Scona was just talking you through a few moments ago, of having to go from the back around this circuit. So in terms of our pole sitters so far this season, we've had Robert De Haan. He took pole twice. That was at Monaco, and that was also at Austria. Theo Overhaus was our pole sitter in our season opening round. That was at Imola. And then we also had Schuring, Giretti and Jalbert all pick up a pole position. Mathis Jalbert, of course, one of the great weekends of the Porsche Super Cup. A great qualifying lap, last across the line, took it away by 0.003 of a second. And then we went into the race, we were all like, oh, well, this is going to be hard for JBM to keep everyone behind. But he did so for the entire race. It was drama behind, but everything else was well controlled at the front. And one of the great days for Matisse JBM. First pole and a first victory, all from that one weekend of racing. Now, that one weekend of racing, it had a brilliant qualifying, as I've already talked you through. The race was absolutely mega. Chris McCarthy, who's been the commentator for the Porsche Supercup for the last few years for the World Feed, also mentioning it was one of the wildest races that he's called for the Porsche Supercup as well in his time. I've also been calling it since 2023 on this channel, so it was one of the more wilder ones that I've called as well. And apologies for the issues we had. So we did find out that basically the race director pressing the safety car button, or well, the safety car ending button, and then of course we had the moment for Ascona, and then they pressed it too quickly that the safety car is deployed again. It apparently also messed up around 5 teams settings as well. Let's go down and hear from Huub van Eindhoven, who spoke to us earlier on in the weekend as well. Oh, we'll bring you that later on. We'll hold off for the moment. We'll be able to get you that in a few moments' time. It gives us time to watch the fans and see in the grandstand, and sometimes up the hills as well. Lots of them sitting on the sands. Let's try bringing the interview now.
Zandvoort is my home track, and I've been there a lot of times with coaching, testing, racing. I don't know how much, but it's certainly the track I've driven the most. Zandvoort is an old school track. Like, the barriers are closed, there's not a lot of runoff area. It's a real driver track, and to really nail it is really difficult. That makes it really enjoyable when you get the perfect lap in.
2024, 1 year ago, we had a all Dutch podium for this Dutch round of the championship. As the vibes are great, they are awaiting for Formula 1 qualifying later on. But Porsche Supercup, now it's a great experience if you do go out there. You get some great sounds of these cars, you get some great sounds of the machines, so it is absolutely worth it to watch this championship in action, even for the fans who may not possibly not follow it. And really, I'm a little bit, I definitely have some opinions if you choose not to follow the Porsche Supercup, because my word, has it been exciting, my word, has it been chaotic across the rounds. Senna van Soelen is the driver we're taking a look at. We've got eight in total, non-permanent drivers this weekend. We'll keep you up to date. We'll bring you up to date with all of them across our weekend. But going back to Budapest, as I've always been trying to linger the conversation onto, the race. Larry Tenforder versus Harry King was good last year. It was good. We had a great fight at Belgium. But this year, as I've mentioned, it's one of the most wildest title fights we have seen in recent time in the Porsche Supercup. You are seeing a great fight between our two contenders of Alessandro Giretti and also Robert De Haan. They had a boxing match, they were pushing each other off wide, and I also was watching the Porsche Carrera Cup Germany. Those two are the ones having a title fight there, and they've locked horns. They've had so many issues since that Hungary round. So it has been absolute fireworks, and you need to sign up. There's no other way about it. You need to sign up to race number 7 of the season tomorrow. Race number 8 at Monza. It will be a boxing match like no other. It will be a title fight like no other. And it's unmissable. Absolutely unmissable. With this championship battle that we are currently witnessing, you know, there's no guarantees whether we'll get it again. We've had, of course, Dylan Pereira dominate this championship in the past. We've had Bastien Boost dominate the championship. We've had Larry Tenforder, who became a 4-time Porsche Supercup champion. There is no guarantees that you're going to get to experience this, because there's so many talented drivers who just get some form and never get off it. So there's a lot to contend with, and you've got to take your chance in the championship. Robert De Haan was our rookie champion last year, So he won the championship at Monza, the rookie championship. Flint Shearing, by the way, only requires 2 points to become the rookie champion this year. I mean, considering he's in the fight for the overall championship, I don't think that should come as a surprise that he's absolutely wiped the floor with the rookie championship. So we'll get that done with this week. Only 2 points he requires with that. So the rookie championship will be coming to a close. And well, I don't think he's thinking about that rookie championship one bit, because when you've got a chance to win it all, when you've got a chance to become the overall champion, you've won the whole thing. It belongs to you in season 33. There's no other way about it. So he'll be absolutely loving life. I'm 100% sure of it. That's if he can go out there and win this championship. Now the drivers went out onto the circuit, and we only got a few one lap time, realistically. That was a lap time. The rest have been out laps, and it has been the drivers just rubbering in to the track conditions. So Flint Shearing didn't elect to go out last time, so he didn't actually, so he'll be quite happy now that there ended up being a red flag, because, well, all of the rest of them have gone out there, pushed for one lap. He hasn't done so at all. Green light on at the end of the pit lane, and we get cars back out onto this Zandvoort circuit. Fantastic sounds, fantastic sights as they come out onto this venue once again. The fans in the grandstands watching on. We have got ourselves 23 minutes and 45 seconds on the clock. So yesterday in practice it was Jaap van Lagen fastest, as we mentioned earlier, with a good margin, 0.3 of a second to Alessandro Gueretti. Then it was Marvin Klin, Robert De Haan and Ario Levy. That was your top 5. Flint Shearing found himself really out of position. He really found himself out of position, did Flint Shearing. So he's got a lot of work to do. And what a story it would be if he can go on to take pole position in his home race. We're talking about all the Dutch drivers. We've also got Robert De Haan, who is one of our main contenders for the title this year. So he's also Dutch. He would love a home pole. Now this weekend could be the championship deciding moment, but realistically it won't be. There is a chance that Alessandro Gueretti can become champion. I'll talk to you that in a second.
I think the difficulty at Zandvoort is more the rain, the wind. We had the German championship a lot of wind and rain expectation, and it was a gamble with slick and wet tires, and we expect the same for this weekend.
I was just talking to you about the Porsche Carrera Cup Germany as well. So there's a bit more insight. It was an important round. That's why we were all keeping an eye out on it as well. Okay, continuing with what I was saying. Gueretti has a chance. Championship leader has a chance to win it all this weekend, but the likelihood of it happening is very low. Of course, in the penultimate race of the year, there's always a chance for the championship leader to win it anyway. So I'm not. So absolutely not. It's absolutely not a foregone conclusion. The only reason why it is a possible chance is if De Haan, Shearing, Levy, Klin all retire, basically, and Gueretti goes up the road and wins the race, type thing. That type of scenario. It can happen. We've seen stranger things happen before in the Porsche Supercup, but the likelihood of it is very low. I think it's fair to say. Just thought I'd put it out there that, you know, while we're all saying how this fight's going down to Monza, which realistically it will, don't be surprised if Porsche Supercup does Porsche Supercup things that we love about this championship. That it all ends and it all changes up as well. So, while the last 2 rounds will be focused heavily and a lot of attention will be across those championship contenders, it's important to keep an eye and give a little bit of shout-outs to some of our other contenders as well. Hoef van Eindhoven, not in that top 5, not in that title fight, but within range. Well, best of the rest, I think, is the way to put it. But within range when it comes to race wins, podiums, and he always gives himself that opportunity. Okay, lap times. Here we go then. Robert Dehan goes pushing around this circuit. Bit of a slide. Bit of a slide through Tarzan corner. Into turn number 2. Take the wide line into turn 3. You run all the way up to the banked corner. Put your foot to the floor. You've got tight, twisty, roller coaster. Corners coming up next. Downhill, uphill, all attack. It's fantastic shots, it's fantastic sounds of these cars. You get ready to go downhill as you approach and reach turn number 7. Take the wide line. Bring it over for turn number 8. You arrive into turn number 9 where Fastante had that moment a few moments ago. Don't get over the curb, don't ride the curb or it could send you into the wall. Dehan's gonna back out of it. So, can we pick up this lap with Levy then? I'll continue to talk you through a lap maybe. Never mind. We're gonna we're gonna stay with Dehan, the TV directors, deciding with that one. Oh, I was loving talking you through a lap. Oh, we've got another one. We can actually pick up on it. Here we go. We can indeed. Matisse Jalbert. Matisse Jalbert making his way through. Stands on the power. We're doing an onboard for you as well. Gear 4. About to be upgraded to Gear 5 by the time you hit the brakes for turn number 11 on this circuit. Into the chicane of 12. Try get the car rotated. Don't get over the inside gravel too much there. And then you're getting ready for turn number 13. The final few corners on this circuit. Foot to the floor for one last time. A banked corner comes up next. Jalbert is going to keep tight to the inside line. He will make his way up towards the line and you will get a lap time on the board if your name is Matisse Jalbert. P5 at the moment. It was a lap time that was a 1 minute 36.913. So it is Van Lagen, Dehan, Levy, Stiak, and now Jalbert. But guess who's going quickest of all? Flint Schuring. Pushing on at the moment. Going nicely on the attack around the circuit, which runs to 4.2 kilometers, 2.6 miles. We've got 29 drivers this weekend from 12 countries. Schuring's been beaten in that first sector. Looking at our timing board is Jalbert. That's going very nicely through there. The Schumacher CLRT cars pushing on at the moment as we are about to make our way through. And we will come across the line in a few moments' time. Flint Schuring, first lap time is P5 for the Dutch driver. Alessandro Gueretti, the Frenchman. What is he going to do? Another Frenchman of Matisse Jalbert is up by 0.03 of a second at the moment. That's through the middle sector. Alessandro Gueretti comes across the line, cuts the beam, and it's 0.2 away. But it's second place. Jaap van Lagen, one lap enough, and he's way ahead of the field still by Porsche Supercup margins. Jalbert is going to try change that. He's going to try push on. Let's see whether he can do it. The Frenchman up towards the line he goes. The driver P7 turns it into P1. The Martinet by Almaraz man chasing back-to-back poles in the Porsche Mobil 1 Supercup. We're focusing on Sam Shaheen, nearly losing the car. My word, full attack for the GP Elite man as he sends it into the braking zone of turn 11 and 12, 2 seconds away. So it's not looking like a promising lap at the moment for what he would have wanted. Marvin Klein, P5 in the standings with a yellow first sector. We'll see what the second sector is looking like for him. Still the first initial runs, he's down 8, very nearly 8.5 tenths away for Marvin Klein down in that part of the lap. Sam Shaheen stays 27th, didn't find an improvement. So drivers now coming back into the pit lane. Klein gets on the power, gets the car rotated, makes his way down towards the pit lane. He's not going to complete that lap for us. It didn't look promising anyway. As we mentioned, 8 tenths down by the time he completed sector number 2. The man who is in the pit lane at the moment is Jaap van Lagen. 8 hundredths to Jalbert. What a moment it would be for Jaap van Lagen if he can secure a pole position. Marvin Klein sliding all over the place on that lap. A few reasons why he finds himself all the way down in 17th. with so much work to do. A few notes, by the way. Car 9, which is usually Pietro Deli Guranti, will miss the final 2 races of the Porsche Supercup season due to medical reasons, and he'll be replaced in the final round at the Temple of Speed at Monza. So we've not got a car 9 this weekend, but a replacement should be found hopefully by the time Friday comes for the Monza weekend. Schumacher CLRT, the team's champion 1 year ago. They're going to hope that they can try and become champions again. 2 very talented drivers, 2 title contenders this year as well. Flint Schuring trying to become the first champion, the first rookie champion to win the overall championship in his rookie season since Earl Bamber in 2014. A name that if you watch motor racing, you might recognize if you watch racing like this. A very talented driver. And this is what the Porsche Supercup can do. It can set up drivers to go on and fight for bigger and better things in the future. Senna Van Serlen, shout out to him, he's doing well in 8th at the moment. I've seen him racing in quite a few Carrera Cups across the motorsport season this year. Aaron Mason is who we cut to next. Do the final few corners. Time to put your foot to the floor and see what you can do. Alessandro Giretti, of course, also a Porsche Junior. Same applies to Theo Overhaus. What a story it was for Theo Overhaus to take pole earlier on and become that Porsche Junior that we were mentioning. As they round out the lap times, and a lot of drivers preparing to come back into the pit lane. Also, important to mention, after the issues that we had on the stream, we have changed the Porsche Supercup. We have changed the Porsche Supercup graphics and everything, so the stream looks a little bit more different to usual. So let us know whether you like it or not, because of course we've also changed the sector. Now we can actually see sector times as well on this qualifying, which I know for a lot of people definitely quite fancy, being able to see who was quick through each sector, and it is quite a lot of fun being able to work that out. I will be completely honest with you. Aaron Mason doing a double push. Driver in 25th, car 15. It's been an interesting season for Aaron Mason as of yet. My word, could it have got even more interesting, but in a bad way had he lost the car and found the wall there. Because I mean, well, he's got everyone, he's got absolutely everyone staring him down around the Zandvoort circuit. He's got the Dutch army in full force, all waiting to see what his lap time is. Everyone else is in the pit lane. He's got a circuit to himself completely. Aaron Mason, with all eyes of this Formula 1 paddock and the world on him right now, comes across the line and doesn't improve his time. I can see Javan Lagens coming out onto the circuit from the exit of the pit lane. 12 minutes to go, everybody. It's always been a joy to bring you these Porsche Supercup sessions. It's always a little bit of fun. We enjoy a bit of banter even though I'm by myself. But, you know, you can always create something fun. We've got such a good series in front of us. One of my favourites. It's an utter joy. It's an utter joy to broadcast this to you. And it's been great to have your company across qualifyings and the races. We will be live though for all of the remaining races of Zandvoort and Monza. Qualifying at Monza will also be recorded as well. But just a reminder to you that make sure to join us for that Monza one, because it is one of the great championship finales, and qualifying, I can assure you, I've commentated a few years of this championship, and I can assure you that qualifying heavily dictates on whether you're a championship contender, let alone Monza today. Because you could find yourself, if one of the contenders has a terrible qualifying and they're not in the fight at the front. It is a hard job, and you lose a lot of points, and you're in the mid pack where it can get chaotic. We had a spin for Overhouse last time out. We had Jaap van Lagen being involved in an incident on the opening lap. It was all wild. It was all dramatic 1 week ago. For this Porsche Supercup Championship, 10 minutes to go on the clock. We'll see whether Van Lagen's going to be able to find any time. Is he going to be able to find an improvement? 2 practice sessions, he's been fastest of all, as I've mentioned. From Budapest to the Netherlands. Wasn't able to convert it in Budapest to a pole. Could today be the day? And what a day it would be if he can do it. Because this is a driver who has waited so long to find himself becoming a pole sitter. He's been on pole twice in the Porsche Supercup. His winning years, his contending years were 2015. He's been on the podium 11 times. But he's always one of those OGs of this championship. We take a look down at the pit lane, to all of the teams, to all of the drivers. And we now look to drivers who are making their way out onto this circuit. Here we go, everybody. It all comes down to this. It all comes down to this. To decide our pole sitter. Championship contenders need to find themselves. They need to find themselves within range of our top 5. That'll be the goal for all of them. And that's what they'll be aiming for. As they make their way through. Another thing I would like to say and to mention as well, we don't have Keegan Masters with us this weekend. So we wish him the absolute best. Apologies, not Keegan Masters. Not Keegan Masters. I've got the wrong driver. Apologies for that one. Not Keegan Masters. Jaap van Havercourt was the driver I was trying to get out. Oh, Jaap van Lagen locking up into the first turn and going through the runoff that we've seen so many drivers do. Yeah, sorry. No, not Keegan Masters. He's on our timing board at the moment. I meant Cas Havercourt. The Dutch racer, unfortunately not able to participate in his home round due to illness. So he has been replaced by Jonas Greif, who was already meant to do 4 races with us. He was meant to do Imola, Monaco. He was with us at the Red Bull Ring, and he was set to be with us at Monza. He will be with us at Monza, but he's also done an extra round with us in place of Havercourt as well. So let's take a look at a replay. Jaap van Lagen was pushed out into the fast lane. And he made his way through. Oh! Bit of a moment there. This is what happens when you have drivers. So the teams push the cars out and it can sometimes get close. So that was tight between Shooting as he was put in front of a GP Elite driver, and then he was having to stand on the brakes. Talking about standing on the brakes and not doing it in the best way possible, because it was a lock-up for Jaap van Lagen as he made his way into Tarzan corner and made sure to go to the runoff. You don't want to be sending that Porsche car through the gravel. That is absolutely one thing you do not want to be doing, and I'm sure he's aware of it. He doesn't need my confirmation for that. So, it's Jalbert on his way to what would be a second pole position in Porsche Supercup, and it will be a second in a row. They've both come back to back if he does go on to take this. Round the final corner we go. Mathis Jalbert pushing on in a few moments' time. First of all, pushing on though is going to be Jaap van Lagen. As we head down into turn number 1. They will make their way through. Van Lagen on the power he goes. On full attack. incident involving car number 8. That would be a Dirk Shooten, of course. Will be noted for an unsafe release. We mentioned he was rejoined into the path of another driver. But here we go. This is where it gets competitive. 5 minutes and 20 seconds to go. You've got to be improving now. You've got to be finding time. If not, you are going to leave yourself vulnerable in a dramatic way. If you're a title contender, this is everything. This is all of your campaign's work at a chance of being undone if you cannot perform in this qualifying session and in the qualifying session that will follow in a week's time at the Temple of Speed at Monza. Yannick Stiak is pushing on, the youngest driver on the grid, making his way through. What incredible sights this is as they push on at the moment. So, Stiak 5/10 off the pace. Jaap van Lagen, meanwhile, down to the first and second sector. Dirk Shooten, no further investigation for that moment, so that was very quick. We usually have to wait till after the session to receive information like that. Okay, Yannick Stiak comes across the line and he'll be in 6th. Watch Ariel Levy though, watch Ariel Levy. He's going to be pushing on further in behind. Stiak, P6, Ariel Levy's the one to watch because he finds himself 4th place in the championship. If he wants to give himself a realistic chance to contend this year in 2025, he needs good qualifyings. He needs to be ahead of his rivals 100% because he finds himself adrift by 15.5 points. Ariel Levy to the line, Ariel Levy to the top of the table. Welcome him back into championship contention because Dehaan is 4.5 off the pace of what his rival for the title is managing. Schuring is pushing on at the moment. Alessandro Giretti's going on quickly, very quickly through that middle sector as well. So he's finding the time in the first. Dirk Shooten at the fastest last sector. This is wide open in the battle for pole position. Robert Dehaan, left vulnerable at the moment. He needs to find time. He's in 7th. He's in 7th. That's not what Dehaan needs. Schumacher CLRT drivers are rapid out there at the moment. Dehaan has left himself vulnerable. The man 2nd place in the championship, Dehaan, possibly at risk at the moment because Schuring and Giretti are going quickly. Flint Schuring, 3rd in the standings, comes across the line. Fastest driver around the Netherlands at the moment. 2/10 of a second to Levy. Giretti's missed out by 1,000th. The Schumacher CLRT cars are not separated by anything. Unbelievable stuff. The drivers who tied in Barcelona have only 1,000th between them. The closest it can get without it being equal. What a qualifying session that was. Meanwhile, drama in the pit lane. At the same time, Schuring and Giretti, 2 drivers contending for our championship this year, as there's an issue for Senna Van Serlen with the car. Definitely some issues. This is the lap of his life possibly being required by Robert Dehaan. 2 minutes to go in the Porsche Supercup qualifying in the Netherlands. Dehaan on run number 1 of this set in the final few minutes finds himself down. This is championship defining for Robert Dehaan. 2 rounds to go in the Supercup. This is our penultimate qualifying of the season. Dehaan needs to find an improvement. 9th won't be good enough with his title contenders at the front. He joins them, but he's behind by 300. Dehaan goes to P3. He had the fastest last sector. It was looking good through the 1st and 3rd. In the middle sector, it was an improvement, but others have managed quicker. Those Schumacher CLRT cars are rapid when it comes to the middle part of the lap. That is where Schuring got a 10.5. That is where Schuring found a 10.5. Looking at our timing board, Overhaus, Hoffner is improving. Senna Van Serlen's going quickly in the 2nd sector. Keep an eye on Senna Van Serlen to see what he does as well. Overhaus, meanwhile. Let's hear from him.
It's all about the middle sector. Middle sector is miles off.
Middle sector is miles off. That's in the part of the circuit that he is in at the moment. Rotating the car through is Theo Overhaus, our pole sitter from the opening round of the season. And man, was he fighting away with the car. And it was sent to the brink. And he's 5/10 off the pace. He will get one more chance. He will get one more lap. Clouds in the air. an important qualifying session taking place. Top 3 in the championship are the top 3 in the road. Well, screw that. Top 4 in the championship are the top 4 on the road. This is unbelievable stuff. You are really watching one of the most competitive Porsche Supercup seasons to say that all of our contenders have got themselves to their spots in the top 4. Levy will want to get ahead of all of them. 10 seconds to go. Overhouse, no improvement. One last lap left for him if he's got anything underneath him through Tarzan corner. This is remarkable. This is unbelievable. Robert Dehan through turn 3. Was it an error? Was this the moment that cost him time? He was over the white lines possibly. Could that one be left to race control to decide? Big moment in the context of this championship battle. As Frank Porte Ruiz went off. We are stressing this right now quite a bit, but that's because qualifying, we have learnt over the years, is so important. I don't think anyone else is improving. We've got Mason who's come across the line. Nothing for him. What a qualifying session that was. What an incredible qualifying. Don't think we're done yet completely. Keep an eye on this order. It can all change around. Ariel Levy's 4th at the moment. Not a good 1st and 2nd sector. Wonder whether he's abandoned it. But Flynn Schuring, for the 2nd time in Porsche Supercup, is roaring as a pole sitter. Barcelona. And now,
You're
Sancho.
P1, mate.
Incredible stuff. He's taken his spot. He's taken his position. There was nothing anyone could have done. Porsche Supercup at its absolute finest. These are the margins that we love. These are the margins that we live for. Schuring and Giretti of the front row. Dehan is in 3rd. And Ariel Levy is in 4th. I'm being like a kid at Christmas. This is unbelievable. One of the great title fights.
You're P2. Sorry.
Now remember, at Schumacher CLRT, it's what's happening in McLaren in Formula 1 at the moment. It's going to be a two-sided garage. They're trying to get their man to win this title. There is a chance someone else can take it, but you can't stop either one of them winning it. Oh my word, we had Ariel Levy off. He had a chance to improve. He went off the road. And he will be P4. And that's why he didn't improve. He went through the gravel. That's not where you want to be going in an ideal world. The lap time for Robert Dehan, it will be P3, but he will just be satisfied that he got a lap time on. The trouble, the nightmare, it could have been had he not found the improvement. Absolutely incredible. One of the great qualies, once again, one of the great championships we are witnessing in front of us. Honestly, I don't know what other way to convince you to join us tomorrow this way. You've seen it for yourself. My word. Flynn Schuring, young Dutchman on pole at the Dutch Grand Prix. Incredible stuff. We've had Maya Verg take pole as well. Wonder what's going to happen in Formula 1. You're going to be seeing this after Formula 1. But, yeah, I wonder who's going to take pole when it comes to Formula 1. Whether it could be 3 Dutch drivers to do all 3 at the Dutch Grand Prix weekend. How remarkable would that be? Cars just making their way through. They're driving on, aren't they? Goodness me. Oh, fantastic scenes. Fantastic sights. We'll run you through the whole order in a second. Great stuff from Jaap van Lagen as well. That's where it's turned up to 11. Langeveld with a great job as well, I have to say. A great drive, a great performance for him. make their way through with a Dutch army lining this circuit, applauding as the cars conclude their runs after qualifying. But this is a title fight like no other. You've got some great contenders in it, all trying to forge their way through into the high echelons of motor racing, and this is where it begins. Roads to DTM, to World Endurance Championship. It all really begins for these lot. While this isn't really a support series, it can act like one at times. As your marshals indicate, the driver's route to the support series pit lane. Let's run you through the results. Flynn Shearing by 1,000th of a second, beating Alessandro Gueretti. Dehaan's in third, Levy's in fourth. Few words I have to say, top 4 in the championship, top 4 on the road. Jalbert in fifth, Jaap van Lagen in sixth, then it's Borkamps, Stiak, Langeveld and Marvin Klin, our top 10. Michael Escona in 11th, Theo Overhouse in 12th, then Hofner, Tauscher, and then we have Senna van Serlen, and then we find ourselves also with the next few contenders of Hoover Eindhoven, along with Nathan Chapp, Francesco Braschi, Keegan Masters, and then we also have Doug Schutten, who we can imagine will be under investigation then. And then we find ourselves with Porter Williams, Greif, Ross, Martinez, Shaheen, Schundeverd, Mason, and Fastante, who had a crash earlier on. Well, that was quite something. The marshals will get to work to get this circuit ready for Formula 1 qualifying. From our qualifying though, that is it. It's going to be some finale. In a week's time, it will be some race tomorrow as well. Well, that is it in the Porsche Mobil 1 Supercup. My thanks to everyone at Biggin Hill for providing the pictures. My thanks to Reg who's made this possible once again. We have got some 2 races to go. We've got an amazing finale coming up at Monza. But before that, top 4 in the championship, top 4 on the grid. We've got some race tomorrow. Join us for the penultimate race of the year.